WEEI Late Night with KJ.
First, do you have any appraisal at all of the arm strength that you see from your coach of Mac Jones?
Yeah, from my standpoint, it's adequate. He hasn't got the same kind of arm that the kid with the Chargers has. It's functional. He can get the throws done. From my observation, from a pure mechanical delivery, he's very efficient. He's very accurate. And if I had maybe one assessment, he may not be able to throw the deep route consistently, but he can throw enough deep to make it be effective around all the other things that Coach Belichick and his staff have him do.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Turn it up, Justin Turpin. Turn it up, because it's a put-on. It's an eminence front. Could this whole love affair with Mac Jones already be disappearing? As Pete Townsend says, sometimes people forget. You forget the guy went 11-6. But now the real conversation is starting to be had. That was Tom House. And for those who know, Tom House is like the arm guru. Tom House used to be a pitcher for, dozens of years. Well, I don't want to say dozens. I don't make it seem he was in the league for 24 years. But he's in the league over a dozen years. A pitcher, was on the roster with Nolan Ryan down there in Texas, pitching coach, also works for quarterbacks. Pretty famous for those who are well in the know in sports. But when you start talking to Tom House about the strength of someone's arms, it's like talking about a torn ligament and calling up Dr. David Andrews in Birmingham, Alabama. How you doing? It's KJ Late Night here on WEEI. The Harbor One hotline is 617-779-7937, or the text line is 37937. Still to come, rent-free. That's at 1040. People are living rent-free in other people's heads right now, and it's getting crazier. And I've got a special parody for you to honor Big Papi going to the Hall of Fame. In fact, the people at Major League Baseball, they'll definitely love it. So with Mac Jones, you think of the term sophomore slump. Now, it's not that I hope or expect him to have a sophomore slump, but there are so many things that are in play right now that make you say, this may not be very pretty. The reason why I ask about the sophomore slump is because the whole thing is like what you saw was good at first isn't as good as you start to see later on. You notice the second guessing about Mac Jones happened right after the Bills-Chiefs game on Sunday night? That doesn't tell you something? Or maybe it tells you this. Watching that game, you say, there is almost no way Mac Jones leapfrogs Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes to get to the AFC champ. Like, in order to get to the Super Bowl, you literally have to have those two guys play each other in the first round. And if that's the case, that must have meant injuries, and they suddenly threw him back out there. Here's the order, the pecking order I have right now of AFC quarterbacks, and this tells you kind of how dire the situation might be going into year two. This isn't about like get them receivers, get them this. We're just talking about the talent of the player. Mahomes, Allen, Watson, yeah, he still plays, you know. Herbert, Burrow, Jackson, Carr, Tannehill, Wentz, Mack, Mayfield, Tua. I'll stop there. There's no use in. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, the 10th? Is Mac Jones supposed to be the guy that's always the quarterback for the 6th seed? Look, if I could create the perfect beast of Mac Jones, and look who he is and who he is just below in key areas in the league, it'll look like this. Mac was 13th in the league in yards, right behind Jimmy G. Oh gosh. Touchdowns, 14th behind Derek Carr. Okay. Touchdown percentage, 15th behind Jimmy G. Oh, here's that name again. 15th in yards gained per attempt behind Jalen Hurts. Oh, that's not good. 17th in yards behind Jared Goff, who literally got traded out so that way the Rams could play this weekend. Here's Doug Kide talking about, look, scouts in the league like what Mac did this first year, but...
Yeah, I think that a lot of people were impressed by what he was able to do this season. The fact that he was the top quarterback or the top rookie quarterback in the NFL this year, despite the fact that he was taken 15th overall and behind those other guys who went above him in the draft. He was the 5th quarterback taken this year. There are still some current concerns about, the limitations that he had coming out of Alabama. One of those was just his arm strength. One executive said that, that could continue to be an issue, especially in New England in the winter during the playoffs. It is kind of funny, though, because after I posted the piece, someone that I talked to for the piece reached out to me, and he was like, who said that Mac Jones has a bad arm? Like, that guy's an idiot. Things. I was like, listen, I'm not going to name any names. Like, maybe we can do a part 2 on this piece where you can, get your opinions out on Mac Jones' arm. But
yeah, be careful of what you make fun of because it may boomerang back to you. Remember all the jokes about the little kid in the old Cam Newton commercial? And they were saying that was Mac Jones telling Cam Newton who's going to replace him. You know what the kid was doing in the commercial? Trying to get that arm loose. Harbor One Hotline, 617-779-7937. It's KJ late at night here on WEEI. Scott and Newton, you're on the air. Thanks for calling.
KJ, let me give you my take here. First of all, let's not forget that he's a rookie. Second of all, how many drop passes did this team have that killed drives? How about the offensive line, holding calls that killed drives, offsides? And here's the most important thing, poor play calling from game one right till the end. And I'm talking against good football teams, not against the Jets or Jaguars or Houston. When they played Miami, when they played Dallas, when they played the good teams, okay? The play calling, how about against Indianapolis and Buffalo? You recall the first quarters on the first 2 possessions, run. They put the kid in a bad position. Next thing you know, he throws a pick because no one talks about that. I'm not worried about his arm. His arm will be just fine. He's 22 years old.
Thanks for the call, Scott. Let me say this again. Mahomes, Allen, Watson, Herbert, Burrow, Jackson, Carr, Tannehill, Wentz, then Mac, Mayfield, and Tua. See, here's the thing. There are no old guys in front of him. And in a few minutes here, about 15 minutes here on WEEI, I'm going to explain how Tannehill's about to come out of that list. Nobody's old. They're all young guys. So when you say that, hey, well, Mac is only 20-something years old, those other guys are not 30. I mean, what happened Sunday night was an eye-opening experience for a lot of people who are in the Mac Jones camp. You got to realize you cannot fight an American Civil War like a British soldier in a straight line in red coats expecting to go up against the Americans who are hiding out in trees. Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are hanging out in trees. They're running around. They're making plays. This thing looks like sandlot football. Now, look, if you like the classic style, hey, I like classic. I tend to still drink Tom Collins. Do you even know what the Tom Collins is, Justin?
I don't, and something tells me my mom would be proud of me for not.
That's good. It's an old-fashioned drink, but they still know what you make. But sometimes they'll say, let me go ask the bartender how that's made, because I'm helping them out. Yeah, because they're used to the high balls and the shots and, all the new stuff, the newer names. Some people still order screwdrivers. You're like, oh, my gosh, how old are they? You know what a screwdriver is, right, Justin?
Of course I know that one, yes.
Okay.
That one's easy. That one's ezy.
Okay, yeah, okay, exactly. But when you start talking about, let's do kamikaze bombs and stuff. Jaeger bombs! That's Mahomes and Josh Allen. Mac Jones is a Tom Collins, the old-fashioned neat. This league is moving super fast. Tom House, this is him on Tom Curran's Pat's podcast, saying, look, things can be done to get Mac's arm stronger.
He could, if he wanted to, he could improve his arm speed and his arm distance. we have the capacity to do it. We've done it in baseball. From what I know about dealing with quarterbacks and pitchers, when they show up, very few of them have maxed out their genetic capacity to throw. We can train the gene pool 3% better than what he shows up with. I can guarantee you that. We can improve, and I'm confident that we can improve anybody's fastball or football velocity going through a protocol that we've actually worked hard on over the last 50 years. There is a ceiling, but very few athletes, tap on that ceiling on a regular basis.
Oh, boy, you start talking genetics? Oh, gosh. Should I go through the list again if we're going to mention genetics? Tom House, Mahomes, Allen, Watson, Herbert, Burrow, Jackson, Carr, Tannehill, Wentz, Mac Mayfield, Tua. Yeah, well, Tom said he'd get him a 3% increase. It sounds like the end-of-year raise. Well, KJ, you've helped increase our revenue by $3 million. We're going to give you a 3% raise. On $100? I'm sorry. More of your calls are welcome. 617-779-7937. The text line, 37937. So, again, if I'm putting together the current body, you know how you remember you take the piece here, the piece there. It's almost kind of like playing Igor with Frankenstein here. So, if Mac Jones has 2 parts Jimmy G to him, he's mistake-free like Mahomes, which is very important for a rookie because the other rookies can't say that. They have been mistake-filled. Mac has not made a lot of mistakes this year. Gains passing yards like Jalen Hurts. Yeah, their coach they were calling for, Philadelphia, they'll call for your head if you're late with their coffee. But, they were calling for the coach's head because, when you're screaming Gardner Minshew, hoping that you get more yards out of your quarterback's arm, ew. And he gains passing yards like Jared Goff. Now, if there's a picture of Dink and Dunk with no results, that's Jared Goff. And he's middle of the road in terms of touchdowns thrown. So, to me, right now, Mac Jones, top-level ceiling to me, and I know you're like, what are your eyes? But at the end of the day, if you're blessed to have eyes, you use them probably more than you would your mouth. Looks like Ryan Tannehill. Maybe with less mistakes. Mac needs everything perfect. So passes are going to get dropped in games. Look how wide open Russ Welker was against the Giants. Players are going to drop passes. You're not going to have a perfect penalty-free game all the time. Almost ever. Sometimes we tend to think about what your own team's supposed to do, but not realizing that, the other team has a job to do too. And when it comes to Mac, Sunday night's game was a bit of a worry. Justin, should I read those names again, or is that bemoan the point?
There might be some people that need a reminder.
Mahomes,
if you feel suit.
Allen, Watson, the guy with the masseuse thing, he still plays, and I have him at 3. Herbert, Burrow, Jackson, Carr, Tannehill, Wentz, Mac, Mayfield, Tua. So literally I have Mac maybe 2 and a possible better. Maybe he can get to like Derek Carr light. But Derek Carr's arm and Mac's arm, oh my gosh. It's like one kid pitching from a major league mound and the other kid pitching from the little league mound. Who really has the 95-mile-an-hour fastball? It isn't the little kid warming up in that Cam Newton commercial. It's time to trend here on WEEI Late Night.
For nearly 30 years, the home of the Boston sports fan. Now here's what's trending on WEEI.
Trending now on WEEI and WEEI.com. Bill Belichick has been named the Executive of the Year by the Pro Football Writers of America. This is the first time that Bill has won the award.
See what one draft pick will do?
Two. Barmore. They had a good draft.
Yeah, he had a good draft, but they weren't whispering his name when he drafted N'Keal Harry.
That's true. According to